Hootoo virtual reality glasses. I had these for only a day, and I'm actually going to return these tomorrow. So I just wanted to give you guys my opinion on whether or not this is worthy for purchase if you're looking to get this very, very cheap and very, very, I guess, eye-grabbing option in the cheap VR headset sort of world right now. So I got this on Amazon for $30, and it started at $200, and I have to say this is only worth $30. You can't really look at the $200 price point for reference. So just looking at the box, the front looks nice. You would definitely, I mean, if you bought this for $200, I mean, this is kind of what you would expect, I guess. It's kind of a smooth sort of package with a nice graphic on the back. And yeah, so one thing to mention is if you end up buying this, which I don't recommend, but if you end up buying this, this is the barcode for the Google Cardboard thing, so definitely keep this on hand because you'll probably be using it if you have the Google Cardboard app. This is all the customer service information. And there's a little quality control pads, which is kind of nice. So first thing you're going to do, if you get this, is slide that off. And you'll see virtual reality glasses. And there's another text right here. This is future network for today. It's probably the slogan. So anyway, you pop this open. I threw away some of the packaging, but I have all of the original items inside. Just I'll mention which things are a little bit altered. So the first thing you'll find is a VR headset, and there's a pad for your phone, or in my case I use it for my nose. And this is an original adhesive protector. This is adhesive on the side, but I just kind of threw it on there because I'm going to return this and I threw away the other one. And then there's a microfiber cloth. It's really nice that they included this because you don't want to wipe off your phone and wipe off the lenses before you start using this, especially your phone. So anyway, let's get to the VR headset itself. There's a nice little padding in the box and a little manual, and also a little freshness thing. Cool. So anyway, let's get down here and take a look at this, give you my opinions and final verdict after an hour of use. So this is, I believe, the front. You have two nice lenses. Here's this would be the right side, and you have good port access for any device. On the front here, or the back, you have a sliding door, which I heard could be for ventilation, because phones get really hot when they use the VR, especially older phones. When they use the VR, sort of filter for videos. And it could also be for the Google Cardboard camera, if you want to use that. And then same sort of compatibility with a little bit more taper edges. This would be for the iOS side, and this is more an Android side. So, and let's look at how you load your device. That's what you'd be doing next after you examine it. So it's a little tray, and the one reason for this design sort of feature probably is for the lack of buttons on here. There's no magnetic buttons that give you back and forward or select commands. There's none of that, so they gave this easy tray for people who aren't going to spend money on a Bluetooth remote. You can easily slide out your phone and just kind of tap on there. One downside of that is sometimes you have to recenter, but it's usually not an issue. It usually keeps it centered pretty well. So the thing that I was just sliding up and down is what actually keeps your phone in there. Now I'm going to make a big note here. Droid Turbo users, for the first generation, if you have a case on your phone, don't expect it to work at all. You can fit an iPhone 6s with a smaller case according to one other reviewer I watched, but not the thick Droid Turbo first generation with its huge battery. You can fit it in there without a case, but there are still some issues I experienced with using this device in particular. The volume buttons have a tendency to hit this top part. Even if you flip it over, it's a little bit better, but in order to get the image centered, you have to align the buttons over here. And I've gotten it to a point where it's worked and stuff like that, but it's just kind of inconvenient, I guess. So we're gonna slide that back in there. Slides in like that. Now I'm gonna get on to telling you guys about how everything looks and stuff like that. This is definitely, I guess, worth $30. You get what you pay for. The lenses are nice. You can move them side to side, away and forward, via these knobs right here. They're clear and stuff like that, but you don't get the full immersion that you would with, let's say, like other headsets, like probably the Samsung Gear VR. And obviously that's because the Samsung Gear VR is made for Samsung devices. And if you happen to have one of those Samsung devices, they're going to work surprisingly well with it because they're made for it. But this device, you can see like you can see black bars around it. It'd probably be better if you had an iPhone 6 Plus. But also another thing to mention is if you have a Droid Turbo first generation like I do, there are capacitive keys that obviously they're going to get in your way of the viewing experience. You're going to see those keys inside the device. So that's kind of a bummer. You can buy apps, like there's a night mode app that I got that turns off these, the lights and the capacitive keys, but it's kind of annoying to keep having to it's annoying to have to keep activating that feature when you're trying to use these. I thought the experience was pretty nice. I actually got a little bit motion sickness from it. I didn't really realize that I'd be that affected by it, but if you even think you're going to have the slightest sort of issue with that, don't get these. Don't even, probably stay away from VR in general. Another thing to mention is the comfort. I'll talk about the band itself first, and then I'll talk about the part that contacts your face, which is the negative point of the comfort. So one reviewer mentioned that he didn't like this, I think he used the word rigid, plastic back. It's actually not rigid, it actually forms to your skull. Not all the way, but obviously it curves to the curve in your skull. So it's not actually that bad. It doesn't actually hurt. It's not the part that hurts. This top band is very convenient. And overall, the device is weighted well, even with my big heavy phone in there. So now to get to this part right here and the comfort that this provides. This is probably the low point of the whole device, other than how it's not too immersive. To start, the curve here, the radius of it, is definitely the one-size-fits-all approach. It's definitely way too big for me, and if you gave this to your little kids or whatever for like a little present, they probably wouldn't get the padding necessary for their forehead and whatnot. And even here, I didn't even feel these pads here when I was wearing it, which was kind of bad because this is a nice pad. It's very soft. And then another very, very bad point is the nose thing right here. It's almost like they didn't finish it all the way and just kind of stuck that there. After a while after wearing this, I had like a indentation on my nose from this, and it didn't come off for a little while. So that's definitely bad, and it didn't feel good. So I actually probably would have gotten less motion sickness if this comfort experience hadn't been so bad, if it didn't hurt so bad. I tried using this pad right here as a sort of pad for my nose, but it's not that plush, and it actually also creates a mark. It does help a little bit with the pressure, but other than that, it really doesn't really work that well. To be honest, so kind of I guess moving on to conclusions, if you're looking for, I had the idea that this would be just the classic VR experience where you'd be immersed in your video and stuff like that. I actually didn't have that good of an experience. One, probably because I had an Android phone, and two, because I just had a hard time lining up everything. If you had an iPhone, I think this would work much better. If you have an Android, I'd go for a more expensive model like the Samsung Gear VR, because I think that's made better for phones, and you'll have a much better experience. You won't like this experience because it's just way too uncomfortable to even be enjoyable. The reviews are good, probably because of the lenses and stuff like that, and the build quality and the tray and stuff like that, but don't be fooled by those good reviews. It's definitely not worth it, especially for the comfort. So yeah, that basically sums it up. Um, I don't recommend this at all because of the fact that it's just not comfortable. I'm sure there are those few people who will find this comfortable, but just using it for more than an hour really isn't advisable from my standpoint. Also, if you have the Droid Turbo first generation and you want to use this, don't expect to have too much luck with it. And then also another thing to mention, kind of a side note, in general, this this method of switching videos and whatnot, of taking your phone out and putting it back in, it's really annoying, and it really takes away from the immersion you can get with this. So I mean, maybe you could invest in a Bluetooth remote and become a little bit better, but overall, I just stay away from this thing to begin with. One reviewer on Amazon mentioned that they're going to update this very soon. Or not very soon, but I don't know. I don't know when they're going to update it. But they mentioned they are going to update it, and they're going to put better pads on the nose, and they're going to work on little tweaks on that. That's probably why this thing is discounted so much. So just keep that in mind. I would definitely wait, and that's actually valuable advice for a lot of purchases. Just wait a little bit. Chances are that there's going to be something better. So overall, it's kind of a neat little thing to have at first, but you'll find that this is not a very high quality headset in terms of comfort and stuff like that. So that about does it. That does it actually for my review on this device. I'll definitely be returning this, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments about phone compatibility and other things about video compatibility and stuff like that. So yeah, this has been my review on the Hootoo VR headset, and I hope you enjoyed.